The Center for Human Health and the Environment became an official NC State center approximately a year ago. The mission and the goal of the center is to understand the adverse impacts of environmental factors on human health, and in doing so, we're also very interested in the prevention of these adverse effects on human health. And the environment does have a major role in influencing disease processes in humans. The etiology of most chronic diseases, most chronic human diseases, involves complex interactions between the environment and an individual's genetic makeup and their epigenetic makeup. However, this complex interaction is poorly understood, as is the actual level of environmental exposures. So the focus of the research in the center then is to understand these interactions and ultimately to prevent critical exposures within the human population. While the center's focus is on understanding and preventing the effects of environmental chemicals on human health, we are focused on rural and agricultural communities in North Carolina as well. We view the environment as a person's whole lifestyle. It's not just environmental chemicals or pollution. So we're talking about a much bigger, more global scheme as it relates to the environment. So of course, exposure to environmental and occupational toxicants is important to investigators in the center. Solar radiation, terrestrial radiation, is important, but we're also interested in diet, and diet as with respect to nutritive and non-nutritive dietary constituents, as well as caloric intake. In developing this center then, we essentially drew on the strengths of the colleges, for example, the colleges of agriculture and life science, veterinary medicine, physical and mathematical sciences, and engineering. And we brought together 43 individuals from 11 different departments across the campus, as well as investigators from the National Institutes of Environmental Health Science and the Research Triangle Park, the Translational and Clinical Sciences Institute at UNC Chapel Hill, the Brody School of Medicine at East Carolina University, and right here in Raleigh, the Division of Public Health and the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. So we've brought together people across the campus and across the region to focus on environmental health research. The other aspect that I'd like to mention with regard to the center is that we have incorporated NC State's Cooperative Extension into our center, part of our Community Outreach and Education Corps. And the goal is that they will help us get research information that will influence public health outcomes in those communities, but we'll also get feedback from those communities. So if there is concern over certain aspects of environmental health within these communities, then we hope that the extension community can get that information back to the center, and center investigators then can begin to do research. And we've used university funds to develop pilot projects, and some of the pilot projects that we've developed have been in cooperation with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, and we've created with them brochures that are in both English and Spanish regarding environmental hazards, metals in the drinking water, fish advisories, for example. And so these pilot projects, some of them are more basic in their orientation. A good number of people in North Carolina receive their drinking water from well water, and some of these pilot projects are focused on the quality of well water in these North Carolina communities and whether there is an environmental hazard associated with those wells. Currently, I believe that we've funded over the past 2 years about 8 pilot projects.